Hello, welcome to a slightly unexpected race report on the Transcontinental Race. As you probably know if you've been watching my channel, that I started the Transcontinental Race, but unfortunately I ended up scratching after a couple of days due to some issues, which I'll talk about in a second. So I thought, now I'm home back in the UK, I thought in the meantime I'd just do a couple of reports throughout the duration of the race, just to keep everyone up to date. I've done a lot of research on the route. I know it quite well, so I thought I might as well share it and bring some reports, as the race is looking like it's going to be very exciting and quite interesting. So here we go. This is bonus report number 1. So before I go any further, just say thank you to Redshift, who have been supporting my coverage of the Transcontinental Race. And if you'd seen my bike check I did before the race that went out a couple of days back, you would have seen I was running this Redshift stem. Actually really useful, and I'd really rate it. Even on road, like on a road ultra. Maybe not on your road bike if you're doing like the local chain gang or the group ride or road racing. Definitely overkill for that. But when you're going long and steady, and especially on the aero bars, I found it really useful. Even on the good roads in France and Belgium, if you hit like a drain cover or bumper curb or something like that, just takes that edge off, and really really useful. And I think it would have become even more useful further on in the race when the gravel sections cropped up. So big thank you to Redshift for their support. Right, what I'll do is I'll just run what's happened so far. So we're on what's the day today? Friday. So almost five days in really. The race just over 5. The race started at 8 p.m. Last Sunday. So let's just do a little replay basically on the race tracker here. You can't see much from this, but the race started in Roubaix on the velodrome. We did a lap around the velodrome, and then it was neutralised for the first 12k just to get out of the town before we were let loose. And basically we had a really nice parcours of basically the Tour of Flanders cobble sections, which did a really good job of splitting the group up, and there was a little bit of gravel in there as well, which again was enough just to kind of spread things out. And then, as you can see, well, you can't really see much from this, but there was kind of 2 trains of thought, either going north through Brussels, it's slightly longer but slightly flatter, or a bit more direct through Belgium, Luxembourg, and that is basically what I ended up doing. However, I'll get my story out of the way quick before we get onto the good stuff. But I got to Strasbourg probably 6 p.m. on the first day, so started at 8, so that was almost 24 hours in. Very minimal stop time, and I just felt a little bit of a niggle in my left knee, which was a bit disconcerting. That kind of got worse. Crossing the Black Forest later that night, it got quite painful, and I just thought maybe I needed a good sleep and a rest, and I had a plan to get to a hotel, and I basically pushed to get there and then had a good rest. However, after I think 3.5 hours sleep, had a good shower, and loads of food, and it was a bit better in the morning. And then just the second day of the race, I'll just play it now. You can see sort of I'll be down here. Oh, there's me there, black dot that's scratched. You can see quite start stop. That was where I slept the night, where the cursor is, and it was just a very frustrating morning. Stop start, trying to stretch, trying to loose things off, and basically I got to Innsbruck. My route choice was to go further south. You can see a lot of people went further north towards Salzburg, but I went towards Innsbruck and crossed the Brenner Pass because it was a bit of a lower route. You can see the women's leader Jana Kessenheimer here as well. And once I got over the Brenner Pass, stopped the other side, and I could feel my knee, and I had my knee warmers on all day, even though it was 30 degrees, just trying to keep things warm. I've actually got a inside my kit video, in my bike bag video that I think I scheduled for this weekend sometime. And I tell everyone about my knee warmers and how I always wear them at night and like to keep my knees warm. I didn't wear them on the first night. It was sort of 15, 16 degrees. I thought it'd be okay. I'm not sure if that was the root cause, but yeah, my knee swelled up. So look away now if you're squeamish or don't like knobbly knees. But you can see my left knee here, just totally I think that's the medial ligament on the inside there. just totally swelled up. I was using ibuprofen gel, trying to stretch my hips. I think the root cause is my lower back and hips. I think I have a bit of an imbalance at the moment. If any of you have a small child, you'll understand that one from carrying, slightly wonky. And I suspect the big first stint, 28 hours with a slight imbalance, has just kind of tweaked the ligament a little bit. Like I knew I wasn't on 100% form going into the race. Not had the most ideal month leading up with a bit of illness and time off the bike and various other life things. But I was hoping that after a slow start I might be able to get going. But the knee flared up and I got across the Alps. I didn't scratch at night. You should never scratch at night. Slept. And the next morning it was still really sore. So I think I rode 20 minutes and went back to sleep again, and then rode to a cafe and sat there mulling over my life, trying to decide what to do, getting frustrated because I've ridden this bike. I rode across Japan on the bike in November. It's not like I've done my first short ride on it. I've been training in the time trial position since start of March. So yeah, it's a bit unexpected to have a knee issue, especially early on. I mean, you do get knee issues. I do get problems in races, not major problems, but just fatigue. I think your muscles get tight and the muscles then pull your kneecap into your patella. It's never major, it's always manageable. But yeah, tendons, I've had it once before and it took 3 months to recover. So 500 miles in, very painful knee, not getting any better. With just under 2,000 miles remaining, I decided I should probably scratch, which I did, which is pretty gutting considering all the hard work I've put in and a lot of hard work from people that are supporting me as well. Like guys like Tailfin made a custom pack for me, and Mason helping with the bike and doing some media around it, and Albion special kit. It's very frustrating, but yeah, I didn't really want long-term injury, and so yeah, here I am back at home. Luckily, I got to Innsbruck, and Alex Kopp, actually, Jana's partner, they both live in Innsbruck. He scratched early on as well, very similar injury. He won the Cursed race, if you remember, back in May, which I was third in. So yeah, he was back in Innsbruck. He said, well, I'll get the train over Brenner. So I went and hung out with Alex and we compared the size of our knee, hobbled around eating ice cream, and then I managed to get home. So yeah, here we are, and now I'm on race updates. So as you can see from the live screen here, Jana Kessenheimer, as I've already mentioned, the lead woman, and you can see that she's really got quite a big gap. It's quite hard on this early stage to compare exactly because it's a free route, but you can see like the women's dots are like a brownie colour and the guys are this dark green. She's got a big lead there. Firstly, she's an amazing cyclist. I've ridden with her in Japan on the Japanese Odyssey. She's really strong. And she picked a local knowledge. I mean, there's probably a reason that I decided to go over Brenner. Jana and Alex suggested it would be quite good. So yeah, local knowledge, getting a nice run into the first checkpoint, which we can run through now. Robin Gempele, to be honest, he's my pre-race favourite. I was lucky enough to hang out with him a little bit before the race start. And you could tell he was super, super focused, and he really wanted it, really wanted it, and I think he's come in good form. First to the first checkpoint, big gap, and then we had a bit of a chase group. Omar De Felici, Abdullah Zainab, Christoph Strasser, the winner of the last two, Florian Moreau, he was up there last year, Andre Bachmann, it's a new name for me, not totally familiar. And Victor Bozzoni, we'll touch on Victor in a few seconds' time. He's had his own bad luck. And they were first to reach the parkour in Slovenia. Robin first in, followed by Omar and Abdullah. And and as you can see, everyone sort of moving through. And at this point, the route is very similar. So once we've done the replay, I'll head over to the actual race tracker. We can do some route comparison. You can get the tracks up there. And see how they're all getting on. So as you can see, everyone sort of funneling in together. I'm not sure there's too much difference in the northern and southern routes. Very similar. And You can see the first pair as well. Sherry and Jerome, I saw those guys on the first night. They work really well together actually. Jerome's similar height to me, 6'3", super strong. And Sherry's like fairly small and a good climber. So Jerome could just smash it on the flat. And as they're working in a pair, they're able to draft. Sherry was able to draft him. And then they were both really strong on the climbs as well. They dropped me a couple of times. I passed them at a resupply. They come straight past me again. So riding really strong early on. And the first pair to the first checkpoint. So yeah, everyone's filtering through. And then the route goes through Ljubljana. There's a few different options through Zagreb. Again, we'll compare notes in a second. And by this point, you see the order kind of establishing itself. Christoph Strasser was a little bit further back than I would have thought. He had a lot of navigation issues early on. Basically, his phone and his Garmin weren't talking to each other, so he was having problems getting his route up. I think Omar had some problems as well, dehydration things, so he slows down around here. And Abdullah riding really consistent and really strong. Pretty big gap to Robin. I do wonder if Robin's gone out too hard, but he's been sleeping more than Abdullah. But Abdullah is incredibly strong. He's actually got a powerlifting background and bodybuilding, so he carries a lot of muscles. I think there's a lot of core strength in there, and his mind is incredibly strong. But as you can see, heading over to the second parkour in Bosnia, just outside Sarajevo. We'll look at some pictures on Instagram shortly. Robin there first, followed by Abdullah. So at this stage, Robin's got a few hours lead, and then see Strasser just catching up slowly and using his experience to bring things together, and the chase pack kind of following in a fairly fixed order for now. So at this point here, we can probably jump back over to the main page. I've highlighted a few routes here, as I mentioned, so you can do this. We're on Follow My Challenge. If you zoom into a rider or a dot, you can do, I'll take Christoph Strasser here. You can show or hide the track, so you can hide it or show it, and you can see the line will change on the back there. So I've highlighted a few there just to show the different routes. Basically, there's a more direct route through Montenegro, or a slightly flatter route, longer route through Serbia. I was actually planning to go through Montenegro, probably even more direct than that. Robin's taken the more direct route. There's a lot of gravel in there, so he took a few risks with gravel, but he's got an incredible mountain bike pedigree. But it does look like it may not have paid off as much as you would have thought. Abdullah is closing in, but he's still got to go around the long way, cross back into Serbia, and then they'll be taking the pass. You can just see here, if I zoom in, taking the pass into Kosovo. I rode this earlier in the year at the Accursed Race. Nice easy pass, and a nice bit of flat in Kosovo afterwards. So yeah, Robin's still got probably 2 to 3 hours lead, I would have thought. Christoph Strasser, he is closing in. Tim DeWitt, third last year, he's still making a good ride of it. And then we've got Omar De Felici. He's riding a similar route to the one I would have done. Who's that? Topaz Fuchs. He's up there as well. Again, a name I don't know too much about. Andre Bachmann, again, we don't know too much about him at the moment. If you do know anything, just drop us a comment. And then the rest of the chase pack spread behind. Jana is still winning or leading the women's race. She's on the second parkour. She's not had been without problems. She was going to rely on a dynamo, but her dynamo, the USB chargers stopped working, so she now had to buy a load of power packs. I spoke with her briefly when I was staying with Alex, and yeah, she sounds in really good spirits, and she's dealt with the problems really well, and she seems like she's riding a really sensible race. So yeah, be good to see what Jana can do in the next few stages. Not out of the question that she could get a top 10 overall. Just behind Adrian Lechty, he of course was second at the Accursed Race. Out of me, Alex, and Adrian, he's the only one still going. The other two of us are out with knee injuries. So yeah, Adrian obviously has strong knees. And Sherry and Jerome leading pairs. They're heading in towards the parkour. They're not strong for sure on the gravel, so it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But it looks like they have a fairly big lead over the next pair. Second woman on the road is Jamie Wilson. She's obviously won this before a couple of years back, being the fastest woman overall. So yeah, she's still doing great, and she does tend to be really consistent as well. So I would expect to see her maybe close in on Jana. Maybe not in this section. Jana is a really, really strong climber. Maybe in the flatter section at the ends, Jamie will be able to close in the gap a bit, and she's very resilient as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to watch that, and I'm sure she'll close in from 30th overall to much further, top 20, maybe even top 15 if she really gets it together later in the race. So there we are for a brief update on the race so far. Let's just do a little bit on the social media. I'm just following the Transcontinental Race stuff. Obviously, I've been on the road, so I've not got an extensive list of things. But this was a nice little excerpt from the podcast with Robin Gempelli. Really interesting to hear what he says.
I don't know yet what it would really mean in the end to actually win it, but yeah, that's the goal. And I'll find out once I'm in Istanbul if it works out. But yeah, clearly the goal this year is all or nothing. Now we're halfway through. Now probably the issues will start to come now as well. I only had good days so far. There will be bad days as well. But I have some time to play with, and I mean, I don't have to win with 10 hours of advance. If it's 10 minutes, I'm fine.
How many times have you done the TCR? This
is now the third time.
Okay.
So the experiment, the defeat, and hopefully the win.
So there we go, the experiment, the defeat, and hopefully the win. So yeah, Robin looking really strong, and as I said, I spent a bit of time with him before, and he seemed very focused, and he's a world-class athlete, so it's doing great. So yeah, good luck to him. So this was the descent off one of the first parkour, the nice cobble descent. Looks really cool. Plenty of salty riders. There's Jamie Wilson, second position woman at the moment. Are they comparing knee injuries? I don't think so. They're still going, unlike me. But yeah, this is beautiful. Lots of stretching going on. It just you forget, especially with the start at 8 p.m. Like I rode 28 hours pretty much non-stop. Certainly 26 and a half, 27 with the breaks. That's a lot of strain on the body. So yeah, it's a hard way to start, and you can see the fatigue in the faces here. But yeah, what beautiful scenery. This is in Slovenia. Looks like they're going to be doing a lot of walking there. Ripped off a rear mech, which is less than ideal at this early stage. Hopefully they brought a spare hanger. So yeah, that is a T-shirt. Check out the Transcontinental Race page on Instagram. That's Abdullah Zainab. So yeah, they've got their podcast, they've got race reports, loads of really great stuff. So definitely worth checking those guys out. So yeah, I shall. I'm not going to do daily updates, but I'll do another one in a couple of days as the riders probably head towards Greece and start heading really east towards Turkey. So I'll bring a few more updates as I go along. Hopefully I can get some messages from people on the road. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.